on Creepypasta. So this one is called I Am Not a Clone. And yeah, let's just get right into it. I am the original. I am the best. I care not what those journals say. They are wrong, 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 wrong. I am the original. Aren't I? A finger of the Pokeball is attached around my waist. My Pokemon, my partners, my faithful companions, my best friends. Through thick and thin, we've gone through the perils of Johto and into Kanto. And now here I was, standing at the entrance of the old mansion. I had been mesmerized by the beauty of Ninetales I had battled against on my way here. I wanted one. I had to have one. The kind of trainer told me that the Vulpix could be found in the old Cinnabar mansion, which was just about destroyed. Dangerous, but I was getting that Vulpix whether the stupid mansion wanted me or not. I double-checked my party, making sure everyone was set and ready to go. My Feraligatr, Beedrill, Noctowl, Umbreon, and Rapidash all seemed ready. But there's one question of whether or not he was ready. I bit my lip, having been told by a friend of the journals that were scattered around the mansion. He had pointed out the connections to my dearest boy, and I of course denied every single thing he pointed out. I had to. My Pokemon were practically my children, and what parent would not try to protect their child? But I couldn't ignore everything. I decided to just keep him in his Pokeball for this trip, even if his psychic powers were good against the poison Pokemon that would practically rule the place. I took the Pokeball and shoved it deep down in my backpack. I had made sure I had plenty of potions, antidotes, and burn heals. After finding satisfaction in my stores, I slugged the bag across my bag and called out my Rapidash. I kindly asked her if she would light the dark mansion for me. And the Pokemon whined and flared brighter. I smiled and thanked her, guessing that this was a yes. I'm so tired. Where are we? I can't tell. It's dark and stuffy. It's hot. Too hot. I don't like it. Why can't I see? This feeling. Why do I have it? Why do I suddenly feel so ice cold? Where are we? I felt the Pokeball rattle in my backpack. Considering my bag was so loaded with stuff, I was surprised I could feel it. My boy must be distressed. I frowned. I knew he didn't like being in dark places, and yet I still did this to him. He'll be upset, but not as much as he would be if he was out. The lesser of two evils, I suppose. And I simply couldn't leave him in the storage system. He'd live. I slid my Pokédex out of my pocket and looked at the picture of the Vulpix on the screen, studying it. I scanned over its info. I'd be ready to face this thing once I found it. I even had the brand new Ultra Balls in my pocket, ready to toss to the fox. Woo! My gaze snapped up on the screen and my eyes wide. My prize had come to me, it seemed. Who was I to complain about that? The Vulpix spotted me. When, with pinprick eyes, it took off down the decrepit hall. Grinning, I readied for Alligator's Pokeball and took off after it, my feet pounding on the molding carpet. Ugh, I feel sick. I have a headache. Is there anything here for that? Maybe something for humans? Maybe work for me too? I'm not too different from them after all. No matter how much it pains me to say so with some of them in the world. Huh? We are moving. Ugh, that sick feeling got stronger. The air smells familiar. Are we in a cave? No. It's not a cave. It feels too strange to be a cave. Let's see. There's mold in the air. The air smells stale. We're enclosed somewhere. It's too dry to be a cave. The air isn't dusty, but there's ash. Something's burning, or has recently burned. That explains the heat, I guess. But there's something behind it all. It's so familiar, and it practically drills itself in my mind, and into my fear, it seems. Where are we? What? Am I in the bag? Is there something I should see? Why not? I'm strong enough to handle it. I'm strong enough to handle anything. I chased the Vulpix through the dark, and all of a sudden it took a sharp turn to the right into a room. Rapidash and I rushed into the room, and my partner's bright flames penetrated the shadows that lurked in every corner. It was almost eerie, now that I think about it. I turned to the far side of the room, and the Vulpix was trapped against the wall, hissing and spitting. I frowned. Water would just scare it more, I knew, so with a quick ember from my powerful Rapidash and a flick of a wrist, Vulpix was safely inside an Ultra Ball. I walked over and lifted the Pokeball, tucking it into the pocket of my bag. I'd stick it in the PC once I got back outside. I slid my backpack off, reaching down one of the side pockets to grab an escape rope. Then, that's when I saw it. The journal my friend had told me about. Why was it lying on the ground as though someone had pitched the old book against the wall, though? I'd never know. What was in that book, though? I had to know. My curiosity lurked in front of my mind like the shadows on a sunny day. It was there. There was no getting rid of it. Even though I had practically promised myself and my boy I wouldn't, I reached forward and pulled the book towards myself, being extremely careful with the yellowed pages. I bit my lip, gently turning the front of the book. I read out loud. July 5th. Guana, South America. They discovered a new species of Pokemon. It seemed that all the members of the species are now gone, sadly. This makes studying the new Pokemon very hard. Luckily, we have recovered samples of the Pokemon's DNA. They appear to be very recent. Have these Pokemon only very recently gone extinct, or are they actually still alive? Why does this sound so familiar? It's so painfully familiar. I can feel it on the back of my head. But why can't I remember? I turned the page, surprised to find a few pages torn out. I turned to where the book was laying, finding scattered piles of tiny bits of torn paper. I frowned. There was no salvaging that. I sighed and continued to read. July 10th. Guana, South America. Due to its supposed kitten-like appearance, we've decided to christen the new Pokemon Mew. I smiled. Mew was a very cute name. Mew. Mew, Mew, Mew. The name was so easy to say. It rose off my tongue as easily as my own name. I could feel it burning in my mind. I know that name, but why do I know that name? I turned a few pages, finding them torn out or simply destroyed to the point where only a few lines of text were readable. Finally, I came to something useful. February 6th, Cinnabar Kanto. The tests on the new Mew have proven successful. We have cloned a brand new specimen. However, the limited DNA we have will not work. Professor Blaine offered some of his own blood for the research. While the clone is not what we've hoped for, being very little like the original Mew, it will have to suffice. We have decided to call this creature Mewtwo. Mewtwo appears to be rather powerful. We don't know, however, yet to the extent of its power. I frowned and bit my lip. My friend had lied to me. He hadn't wanted me to read these. He had pointed out small similarities that were painfully real. My Mewtwo was really a science experiment? No, 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 no. I remember now. I remember it all now. I don't remember this. I refuse to believe that I am just a science experiment. I had emotions. I had thoughts. I had to suffice. I believe them. I believe those stupid humans. I believe they care. I am as stupid as them for believing their charade. They care about nothing. They cared nothing about life. I just had to suffice, though. I was almost shaking. My poor Mewtwo. This was really what he was intended for? My bottom lip quivered and I choked back the tears. My Mewtwo. What could have happened that he had not escaped? What fate would have come if he was not with me now? I read on, and I had to know the world would have been if he didn't. September 1st, Cinnabar Kanto. Mewtwo is far too powerful. All the attempts to weaken its vicious tendencies have failed. I flipped through the remaining pages, finding only blank paper. I threw the book against the wall, slung my backpack over my shoulders, and I jumped on Rapidash's back, trusting her to take me to the entrance. I just had to get out. I remember now, oh so vividly. But no matter how many times I run it through my head, it just seems like a story. I am Mewtwo. I am myself. I am no one's clone. I realize I'm pushing into my dear trainer's thoughts, but I don't care. It's better if someone knows what I am thinking. I have to get out. I am the original. I am the best. I do not care what the journals say. They are wrong, 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 wrong. I am the original. Aren't I? No matter how many times I say it, I can't convince myself it's true. Yikes. That's a pretty depressing ass, story about Mewtwo. That does play for an interesting story, though, I will say. So we'll see what we can do. Anyways, that is the ending of this one. So I hope you all enjoyed. I'm sorry if I read too fast and or sometimes my words get jumbled. I just scan over the words too quickly and my brain processes too fast. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give you a thumbs up, and hit the bell so you're notified when it videos, which is every Wednesday. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.